Mulhern with the Wisconsin State Journal. Danny, why do you think you're a good fit for the Wisconsin offense?
I think I'm a leader, and I think that, one thing I noticed that was big for me on my visit was, fitting in with the players and the atmosphere. Obviously you got to come in and work hard and earn your respect, and that's a lot of the guys there are hard-working guys. No big egos on the team, just a lot of guys that are hungry to win, and I respect that. So, and that's kind of how I approach the game. So I think it'll be a good fit.
Jeff Patrikas from the Journal Sentinel. Danny, talked to your high school coach. You said that you basically slept on it overnight, kind of to mull before you made your final decision. What stood out from, or what made Wisconsin stand out from the other schools that you were looking at?
Yeah, obviously I was blessed to have, several great opportunities at other schools, but, like I said, kind of the vibe I got when I was at Wisconsin was special, just to being that with the players on the team, the coaching staff, all the supporting staff. Madison, the city the campus was great. It was kind of everything I was looking for going into this process, and, that's really what did it. It was kind of the culmination of all those things.
Tom Mulhern from the State Journal again. Danny, when do you graduate? When do you plan to be here? And when do you think you'll get your hands on a playbook? And can you just talk about learning the new offense?
Yeah, well, I'm talking with Coach Canada about getting a playbook right now, as soon as possible, as soon as the rules allow. We're still looking into that. But I'm going to graduate this May, in the middle of May, and then get to Wisconsin as soon as possible. The summer program starts early June. I like to get there a little bit before just to get acclimated. But, as soon as I graduate, my mom wants me to walk, so I'm going to do that for her. And, once that's all over, I'm going to get to Wisconsin as soon as possible and start working.
Danny, this is Joe Giuliano from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Could you talk about how close Penn State came in to being your choice, and the pluses and minuses of Coach O'Brien and the quarterback situation there?
Yeah, being able to get up to Penn State twice, one for practice, one they weren't practicing. It was close, and it was a very tough decision. I think it came down to Wisconsin and them. I have a pretty tight relationship with Coach O'Brien, and he's going to do some great things there. And it was a pretty similar situation in a lot of respects. Great people, great players, felt good there. But there was no denying after I took the Wisconsin visit, especially after talking with my family about it, that Wisconsin was home, and it felt more like the place I wanted to be. But Penn State was a great opportunity that a lot of people are lucky to have. But Wisconsin was clearly to me the place that I wanted to be.
Danny, Jeff Patrikas from the Journal Sentinel again. Apparently you were tweeting with Monty Ball already today about getting something done. Can you expand on that, what you guys were tweeting about, talking about?
Yeah, I sent him a direct message, a little private message saying, let's do this, let's get it done, something like that. Coach B didn't want me to tell the guys until, today, just to keep it when they announced it and everything. But I just told him let's get it done, and we exchanged phone numbers now. I know he's excited, as I am, to start working for next season.
Hey, Danny, this is Chris Jenkins at the Associated Press. How you doing?
Very good. How about you?
Not too bad. If I understand the rules correctly, you have to take a graduate program that isn't offered in Maryland. Have you decided what your graduate major is going to be, or whatever that might be?
Chris, this is Brian Lucas. Actually, that is not the rule anymore.
Okay.
But Danny can expand on if he wants to, on what he's going to major.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So I didn't even know that wasn't the case either until pretty recently. But yeah, we're still looking into that. I know I talked with the Education and Leadership Program at Wisconsin when I went on my visit, so that's something I'm going to heavily look into. Perhaps get a certificate in something business related. That's kind of the early talks about it, but it's not set in stone yet, and that's something that now that I've picked the school and all that's over with, we're going to start getting into that a little more here in these next couple of weeks.
Great. Thank you.
Yep.
Danny, James Zimmerman from WKOW in Madison. You said there was no denying when you took the trip that Wisconsin felt like home. I mean, expand on that a little bit. Why exactly did Wisconsin feel like home to you?
I think for a lot of reasons. It's kind of the complete package for what I was looking for. I think the style of offense, the coaching staff I connected with, the players I connected with, it's a great area to go to school at. My entire extended family lives in the Twin Cities in Minnesota, so they're a few hours away. And a couple of them were actually able to get down to Madison during my trip. I was born in Minnesota, so I'm familiar with the area. And obviously it's a great place on game day to play college football. So it's kind of the complete package for me. I'm just really excited to have an opportunity to even come.
Your high school coach is from Wisconsin as well. Did he give you some good thoughts about Wisconsin and try to push you in this direction?
Not really. He was kind of all about, whatever I felt good with. I mean, obviously, he played high school football there and college football in Wisconsin, and he has family there as well. But he's been great. I've known him since I was 12 or 13. He just wanted what's best for me, and it just happened to be, a place where he's from.
Tom Mulhern from the State Journal again. Danny, what do you think of the rule that allows you to transfer without sitting out after you've graduated? Some people were critical or have been critical of that rule in the past, but do you feel like you've earned this chance by graduating in 3 years?
I think so, and that's something that I can't really control. Whether the rule is in or not. Obviously, didn't come here thinking I was going to transfer, and something that didn't pop up in my life until relatively recently. But it is what it is, and it allows me a great opportunity not to sit out. But that's not really something I can control. It just kind of worked out like that.
Danny, Jeff Patrikas from the Journal-Sentinel again. I guess you had a good meeting with the new offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, and I'm assuming you were looking at the offense to see if it fit your skill set, and I'm just curious if you could tell us how that meeting went and what you liked about the offense.
Yeah, it went great, and Coach Canada is an extremely sharp coach, very impressive, and the offense is going to be pretty much Wisconsin football. He brings a unique aspect of it with his experiences, but there's no question with the O-line and running game in Wisconsin that stuff can stem off of that, and I do think it fits what I do well. It's pretty similar to what we did at Maryland 2 years ago, with more of the pro style look. So it's something I'm excited to get back into.
Hey, Danny, this is Chris Jenkins, AP again. I was wondering, is your arm totally healthy now?
Oh yeah, the arm's been 100% for about a month now. I got lucky. Broke it in the Notre Dame game. My left arm, non-throwing arm, but didn't require surgery. It set perfectly. I'm stronger than ever now, and I got lucky. But yeah, it's been 100% for quite some time now.
Danny Rompel with E15. Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
You come into a program that's back-to-back Big Ten champions, and obviously they have lofty goals. Can you hit the ground running? What do you set for yourself and for the team as goals coming in out of campus?
Yeah, obviously it's a program that's had a lot of success, but this is a new year, and you love to have those high expectations and expect to win like that. But I'm not going to try to swallow that all at once. I'm going to come in there and first learn the playbook, work hard, get through camp, and then it's just Northern Iowa's up first, and that's kind of how you have to approach a season. Not with what you're going to do all at once, but kind of a game-at-a-time approach. And I think that kind of mitigates the pressure that you put on yourself and just allows you to keep focus on, the short-term goals. So that's kind of how I'm going to go into it.
Danny, Tom Lee from ESPN Wisconsin again. Obviously, you went through a coaching change over at Maryland last year. I'm curious, what can you draw from what you learned during that stretch a year ago coming into this situation at Wisconsin this time around?
Yeah, I think with the coaching change could be a big benefit for me just because you learn, how to adapt to different coaching styles. You learn that every coach is a little bit different. Learning a new offense is big, and just kind of the process that you have to go through to do that I've learned. So I think there's a lot of positives that I can draw from going through a coaching change.
Tom Mulhern, State Journal. Danny, what did you think of the Wisconsin offensive line, and what will their running game mean to you as a quarterback?
You hear how big those guys are, but until you actually see them practice, it does no justice. It was unbelievable, and like you said, anytime you can have a solid running game, not only is that big, but it allows so many more things to happen. Be it one-on-one matchups outside, play action game, nakeds, things like that. So if you can start with a good running game, it really helps your offense in a lot of ways.
Hey, Danny, this is Adam Rittenberg with ESPN.com. When you left Wisconsin after the weekend, were you thinking that was it, or why did you end up doing the other visits to Penn State?
I did. I thought Wisconsin was the place, but, kind of talking it over with my high school coach and my family, we felt like we wanted to get and see Penn State actually practice because I had not had the opportunity to do that like I did at Wisconsin. So got up there just to immediately compare, see him up there. It was a big decision for me to pull the trigger on Wisconsin. So just wanted to make sure that I was making the best decision I could at the time, and felt good about it after I left. Here we are today.
Mulhern State Journal. Can you also talk about how you've been described as really into film study and that part of the game and being well prepared? Where does all that stem from? And could you talk about that a little, Danny?
I'm not really sure exactly where it stemmed from. I think my high school coach kind of introduced that to me first, watching a lot of film and preparing for teams, just how to prepare, and the benefits that it brings. And then being with James Franklin at Maryland was kind of the same deal in a West Coast offense, kind of a pro-style offense that a lot of stuff goes into that. And it's something that I loved right away. And, I certainly love the game and, love being around it. And film is a big part of that.
Danny, this is Adam Rittenberg with ESPN again. What do you have to do as you come in to establish yourself as a leader on this team, kind of like what Russell had to do last summer with only a few months?
Yeah, I think, my plan is just to go in there and not really say a whole lot about what I'm going to do. Just go in there, work hard, try to be the hardest worker out there. I know there's a lot of hard workers on that team, and I think, that's the best way to earn respect is just to show it by example that, I'm here to work hard and, I'm a team guy and coming to help win games in any way that I can.
Jeff Patricus from the Journal-Sentinel again. Do you feel rejuvenated by this opportunity, given how things turned out at Maryland?
Yeah, I do, and I don't regret, one day that I've been on campus at Maryland. But, I do feel rejuvenated to kind of, close this chapter and start a new chapter. It's refreshing, it's exciting, and I have a lot to prove all over again. And, that's something that has really got me pretty excited. A new atmosphere, a great fan base and everything. So I'm really excited about this opportunity.
Adam Rittenberg with ESPN, Danny. What was your knowledge about Wisconsin, growing up, and even in the last few years, how much have you followed the success that program's had?
Yeah, I was born in Minnesota, so, when I grew up, it was all Big Ten football. My dad went to Notre Dame, so it was Big Ten and Notre Dame football. So certainly I'd seen a lot of Wisconsin football growing up. And then obviously with Russell going to Wisconsin last year, just, they were always on TV, so I always, if it was on TV, I would kind of stay on the channel, see how they were doing, and obviously they've had a lot of success, so you hear about them a whole lot. So, what I know about Wisconsin is there's unbelievable tradition. It's a great town, a great fan base, and, most importantly, a great football team. So it's really impressive.
Danny, Tom Lee again from ESPN Wisconsin. I was just curious, you mentioned you kind of tweeted with Monty Ball a little bit. Did you have any conversation with any other players, and if so, during your visit, and if so, who were they, and what was your reaction to those guys?
Oh, a bunch of the guys. I ate lunch with the O-linemen, talked with all of them. Obviously, Monty in the back. We had a player panel. So I got to talk to really a big chunk of the team when I was there, which was, like I said, big, just knowing that this is an atmosphere that I love to play football in and love to be a part of.
A quick follow-up to that, Dan. Did you talk to the quarterbacks on the UW team right now?
I did not. I did not get a chance to talk to them. Obviously, don't want to talk to them while they're practicing, and kind of didn't bump into them, the other day that I was there. But, I'm looking forward to meeting them as well. I heard a lot of great things about them.
We've probably got time for one or two more if there are any other questions out there.
Yeah, Jeff Patricus from the Journal-Sentinel again. Danny, if you talk to players, if you can share, what kind of questions might you have asked some of the players that you wouldn't have asked a coach just to kind of get a feel for things?
Just kind of how they like their program, their thoughts on the program, their thoughts on the new coaches that are there this year. you know, what it's like being a student athlete at the University of Maryland. You know, just kind of things from a player's perspective that coaches might not know as much, just to kind of get it firsthand.
Danny, this is Adam Rittenberg again. How important is it that you have 2 years rather than just one like Russell or some of the other, you know, graduate transfers we've seen, that you can really establish yourself for a couple of years at this new school?
Yeah, I'm really excited about that, to have 2 years, and it kind of just worked out like that, which is great. But I think being there for 2 years, it'll you know, I'll settle in eventually, and it'll feel like a new home, and have 2 seasons and play a lot of football at a school. It will certainly, you know, kind of ingrain, you know, years from now, you know, my loyalty to, you know, the Wisconsin program. I think it'll be great, you know, to be there for that long.